I'm Amber Davies and welcome to Call to Stage. This is the space where musical theatre takes centre stage. From unforgettable backstage stories with incredible special guests to insights from my life and my theatre journey. We're leaving it all on the mic every single week, so let's jump in. Hi guys, welcome back to Call to Stage with me, Amber Davies, Broadway Edition. Now, this gorgeous gal sitting next to me, I have known for years. This person will forever be all of our Kims, is the wonderful Eva Noblezada.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
So how are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Yesterday was my day off and I went to go see Water for Elephants.
Was it
10 out of 10.
Really?
It was insane. These people in that show are crazy talented.
recommend?
Absolutely.
At all costs?
Go see it.
Okay.
Go see whatever you can. Broadway is the best.
Yeah,
Theater's
I love
the
it.
best. Yeah.
We went to see Sunset Boulevard last night.
How
It was
was it?
Mandy's debut as Norma
that's
Desmond.
right. How was she? I mean,
Unbelievable.
amazing.
I feel like lots of her friends, lots of her family were in the audience, and just to experience that was just
All the
so
love.
wonderful.
Did you see it in London?
Yeah, saw it in London, saw
Yeah,
Nicole
work.
Scherzinger. It's so weird because they've transferred so many people from the West End, so it was a euphoric feeling of like being proud of people you mutually know
No, yeah.
being on that stage.
Do you know Tom Francis?
Yeah, I've had him on the show before.
Have you? I met him for the first time the other night at Holdfast. There's a bar on
He's
46th
cool.
Street. Yeah.
He's too cool for school, isn't
Yeah.
he? I love that. Now, one question I ask all my guests
Yeah.
is, pick any role you've ever played.
Okay.
What was your pre-show ritual for that specific role?
Oh my God. This is just a stupid one. For Miss Saigon on Broadway, because I was young and you don't warm up because you're a silly goose.
Okay.
At least I didn't. I would just sing Love on Top.
Oh, would you? I mean,
Yeah.
that is a warm-up in itself.
I think so. But everyone was like, you didn't do like proper warm-ups. And I was like, no, boring.
Yeah, but you are naturally gifted.
Well, now as I get old, it humbles my ass. And I'm
Does
like,
it?
you should warm up and like take care of your voice.
Because that's what I was saying. You guys don't have a compulsory warm-up.
I do miss that. I miss
you?
like I do, but then like the time that like you get it. Like you wake up and the whole day is dedicated to like, can I do the show? How do I feel?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of put your social life and personal life on the sidelines so that you can do 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
But in London, I really liked like the whole cast coming together. It felt like a family thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is the call? Like an hour before?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half. That's right. And you would do physical warm up and
Vocal.
I really liked that. That was a really cool thing.
I think it's more of like a health and safety thing in the UK. So I don't know how it works on Broadway, but you guys just have to do it yourselves.
People show up at 7:30 or 6:30. That's our half hour.
Really?
I have to show up an hour before because this takes a lot of time to do up.
I love that. Now let's go back. You grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I did. I was born and raised in San Diego, California, and then we moved when I was like 7 or 8 to Charlotte. Very different.
That is, see, it's like I can't even relate to you. I have no idea what that would be like.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you're so cool. I just can't picture you there. Unless you were like on tour. You know what I mean? It was a really cool, like, there were lots of great things about Charlotte, North Carolina. I did, however, experience my first bouts of like, oh, people are racist
Oh, really?
when I moved there. Yeah, my family's like, you know, we're not white.
Yeah.
And so it was just a weird, because in San Diego, we were surrounded by my family. So down the street was like my dad's side, all my Filipino family, literally less than a quarter of a mile away, my mom's family. So all my Mexican side. So it was like surrounded by family. And then you move where everyone's like, y'all Chinese.
Oh,
And you're like,
God.
oh, this is so weird.
Uncomfortable.
And uncomfortable, yeah.
Was it like your aim to get out of there as soon as possible?
I was really ready to just follow my dreams and follow wherever they led. And I was ready to like move out of the house when I was like 14, 15 and like move to New York and go to cattle calls and work at Ellen Starter Steiner.
Yeah.
That was like my goal.
Was it?
It was. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted just to be in the city, be surrounded by the theaters, be surrounded by the people who knew what it was like to be in this industry and just soak it all up.
When did you discover that you could sing?
Very young, I think. I mean, I always make the joke that I came out of my mom singing.
Okay. Came out the womb.
Came out the womb, yeah. Just like
Siren.
crying out of her in the hospital. I don't know, I just always felt a kindred connection to like Disney movies.
Yes.
And Mulan and Cinderella, Little Mermaid. Just obsessed with storytelling and obsessed with like going on the ride of whatever story was on the television or on my VHS.
Did you have enough knowledge at that age? Because your aunt is in the industry.
Yeah, my auntie Annette Kalud, she was in the original cast of Saigon. She was a Kim cover. And my cousin, Brian Baldomero, was the original Tam on Broadway.
Wow.
So it almost like runs in our blood, which is so crazy.
So you had access to knowing that this is something I could do as a career.
Absolutely. And the second she was like, oh my God, you sang, do you want to be on Broadway? And I was like, I don't know what that is, but yeah. It was great to have someone who would encourage me and who knew about it and would bring me to New York and was there when I saw my first show. And I remember crying at Lion King when the animals were coming down. And I was like, this is what I want to do like for the rest of my life. So magical.
I love that so much. You went to Northwest School of the Arts.
I did.
And is it kind of like, because you understand the slang of London?
Yeah.
Is it like...
It's like uni.
Do you know like Burden Lane?
Yes,
and Arts
yes.
Ed?
It's for me that was like arts ed.
Okay.
Because you also there I believe like arts ed has core classes where you still have to do like maths and stuff. So I would do 8A, B Day. 8A, for example, would be like first class pre-calculus, second and third classes ballet contemporary, fourth class history. It was like fame.
What? Oh my gosh, yes, that's how I see it in my mind. It's
that's
fame.
exactly how it was.
I love that.
I loved it. I was obsessed with it.
Were you?
Yeah.
Would you find that in the more academic lessons you'd switch off, or were you quite...
You're reading my mind. Yeah, I would. I think like I just knew that like my brain only had enough space, and it's not like I was like downing myself. I just knew like how I am as a person. I was like sitting in chemistry class, coming from theater class, and I'm like, I actually like don't care about this. And I would write on my test. I'd be like, solve your, answer this equation and like show us your work. And I would like draw a little flower and be like, you're a great teacher. And I was okay with getting D's and C's. My parents weren't, but I was like, this is not what I'm going to do when I grow up.
It was like you accepted, this is not me.
Yeah.
So I'll give the most of what I can.
I was honoring what I felt at the time, but I do think it was very irresponsible to like consistently fail those classes.
Yeah. You wouldn't advise to
But you know what? In the end, it didn't matter because I didn't graduate from high school anyway, so.
Because you went straight to London.
Went straight to London, and I wasn't able to do my final exams because one of my AP teachers, we had a misunderstanding, and so I emailed him and said, well, then I won't graduate. And I was okay with that.
I love that. You stood strong in it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had a massive opportunity waiting for you anyway.
Truly. And that who could have thought, like, what that was going to take?
I want to know in detail what the hell happened with this. The call, was there an audition process?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me everything.
The audition was cuckoo crazy because the Jimmy Awards, have you heard of the Jimmy Awards?
I have heard.
National High School Musical Theater Awards. It's run by the Nederlander organization. It's such a beautiful... I say this every time, showcase of young talent who are like obsessed with theater.
Yeah.
So you're just with people who are just like you. And it's really, really gorgeous. And we're all coming to New York making our Broadway stage debuts. But in the audience at the end of that week was Tara Rubin, who happens to be one of my theater teacher's longtime best friends.
Oh, wow.
And she heard me sing and she was like, to my theater teacher, she needs to audition for Miss Saigon. And so she came up to me and she's like, do you have an agent? And I was like, what is that?
Sorry.
Yeah, what is that? Like, I don't even know what that is. So they set up an audition for me in New York. Went in, sang a few songs, got a call back.
Okay.
Like a month and a half later.
And at this point, you're 17 years old.
This point, I am 17 years old.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, 16 or 17.
16, maybe.
16 or 17. I actually don't remember. And then went back a few months later, worked with the director for like a few hours, and the next day had the final callback on stage at the Majestic.
Okay.
That's where Phantom
we passed
was.
that the other day.
So sad that it's not there anymore.
I know.
So iconic. But my final audition was on the stage, and I sang Sun and Moon with Lawrence Connor, and was like touching his beard, and I was like, oh, so gross. And then literally they pulled me into the house. My dad was there in the stalls, and they were like, would you like to move to London? And be
What, there
in
and
Miss
then?
Saigon?
Offer there and then?
And I was like, oh my God.
That is unheard of.
I was like freaking out. But you know what? I walked in that day and I was like, I think this is mine. So I'm just going to like ride this. And I actually thought that I was in the show. I thought I was going to be a Kim until my agent from the UK met me in North Carolina a few months later and was like, so here's your contract. You're playing the lead. And I was like, what? I thought I was going to be like, I thought I was just going to be in the show. And it was like finding out for the second time. And it was really, really beautiful. I can't believe that happened so fast.
And how did you get an agent in the UK?
I think that Cameron's team just like helped set that all up.
Okay.
Which made sense. But it was with Curtis Brown, Alistair Lindsay Renton, and Helen Clarkson.
That's who reps me?
Yeah. Ride or die.
Do they still rep you?
Not anymore, just because I have agents here in the US, because I haven't been back to the UK in so long. So if I ever were to go back there and work, they're like,
you'd hit
my
them
peeps
up.
For sure.
I love that.
Aren't
we
they
have
the
something.
best?
Oh my gosh, they picked me up at 19 and they never let me go.
Yeah. Why would they?
They're just like loyal to the core.
Loyal to the core. The kindest people. When I first moved to the UK, I needed a phone, so I got one of those crappy SIM cards from like 3, and like one of those flip phones, and they needed to put it under somebody's name who lived in the UK. So Alistair was like, put my dad's name, Angus Renton. So my first flip phone was under his father's name, and I just felt, I was like, that's so like
personal.
Nice of you. And personal, yeah. It was so kind. It was amazing.
That is really crossing boundaries.
Thank God for them, because they really looked out for me in a way that I wasn't expecting an agent to. So,
yeah.
As you know, they're just the kindest people.
Yeah, they are. Did you move over with family or by yourself?
I moved over with my mom, and she was supposed to be with me for quite a bit of time just to help me like get settled in. And I remember we were in Les Mis rehearsals when I was like in the show with your sister. And I think it was like week 2 of being in London, and I came back home and she was like, was really upset, and I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, you're like meant to be here, and like you just don't need me, and like I think I should go home. And I was like, oh my God, I'll help you pack. Don't cry.
See ya, Mom.
See you later. I was just ready. I was ready to like be independent, yeah. Really
Strong
just take
woman.
it on with stride and with confidence. And I was really appreciative that she understood that and saw that in me.
And she didn't make it complicated.
No, she just was like, I trust you. You've got a good head on your shoulders. Go live your dreams. Do what you need to do.
So you did Eponine first.
I did. I was in the ensemble. I was like third whore to the left, which was thrilling. That was so much fun being in that show. Yeah. I wasn't even in the playbill. I would literally
walk. Then you went back to play Eponine.
I did.
So originally, okay. So the timeline was that to get you ready for like an... Really?
Cameron was, which I was like, looking back, I'm like, that is so thoughtful. Like someone who'd never done 8 shows a week before. Go into the show, do 8 shows a week for like 2.5 months, get it in your body, get used to doing this and being in this space and get used to this vernacular, in this environment. And then after that run for like 2.5 months, we started rehearsal for Saigon.
That is insane.
So crazy.
And so thoughtful.
So thoughtful.
A little bit unheard of.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you were this diamond. You were the diamond of
It was
UK.
so weird because I remember meeting everybody in that cast. They were like, and I didn't like how they did it because it made me feel like, no, I don't want to be special. They were like, this is Eva. She's going to be in Miss Saigon, the revival. Be nice to her. And I like hadn't met anyone. And go.
But that was a really good cast you joined.
Do you know who I saw the other day?
Charlotte.
Rob Houchin. Charlotte Kennedy is one of my best friends.
Yes.
But Rob Houchin, he did a show at Green Room. And he was like, I've known her for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
So you did that. I always feel like that era of Les Mis was like the elite era.
That was iconic.
It was an iconic era.
Carrie was Eponine.
Carrie.
Samantha was Fantine.
Yes. It was because the
Tam
film.
Mutu.
Yes.
Yeah, the film.
The film had just come out. That's why.
That's right.
Or like had come out a couple of years prior. So it was like it was popping off. It was like how Wicked is now.
Yeah, exactly.
With that coming. How mentally did you prepare yourself to be Kim? The biggest, most wonderful role. And I feel like in our industry, we all have like a collective thought that Miss Saigon is like the elite musical. The best musical ever.
Really? That's so sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like, I don't know, I just pictured myself doing it and pictured myself on stage and pictured myself working at all times. Like if I wasn't in the space in the rehearsal room or on stage, I would just dream about it and picture myself doing it. And I do feel like, you know, I know people use terms like manifesting. They throw it around a lot, but I do believe in the power of your mind.
Yeah.
And putting it out there because it creates that reality for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give credit to JP Vanderspy and Darren Yap, who really saw me and were there to hold my hand in a way that was really special. And also John Briones, who was my engineer, who is one of my best friends to this day. And Alistair Brammer, who I saw the other, like a month ago. He came to the city because he was auditioning for something. And I was like, it's so weird that I still know you because it's been so long.
It's been so long. Did you have John Reynolds in your...
Yeah, John Reynolds. He was just in the city as well.
He was?
Yeah.
God,
and Callum Francis, who's also one of my dearest friends.
I love that. So do you stay in contact with everyone?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. John is one of my best friends. Callum is, and oh God, who else was in that crazy show? I love Alistair. Dale Evans. Oh, God, another former Welsh.
He is a Welshman. Boy.
God, so many great people in that show. Rachel Ango.
Yes.
Oh God, just iconic cast.
And was it difficult for you vocally? Or was it at that time in your life, it was like an easy sing?
It was.
Was it? I love that you just hold that.
It was, and I love that because now I'm like, you want me to sing a D? Go fuck yourself. It's too high. I think because you get it, like when you do it all the time, it's almost like running a marathon. You're like, okay, where's the finish line? And it's like, keep going and you'll find out.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like doing long runs over and over again. It's a blessing, but the hard work, like my body's like,
do you feel broken. Like it's kind of knock-on effect now?
Yeah.
It's like you're feeling it, Kim, now.
Oh, I'm feeling Kim. I'm feeling Eurydice. I'm feeling the pandemic like now.
Yeah. I feel that a little bit.
Do you?
I'm with you. But we are approaching 30.
Yeah.
It could be that.
It could be that.
The hangovers, everything, babe. It's awful.
Honestly, 2 glasses of wine, I'm like, am I going to throw up?
Do I need a kebab
I remember doing a kebab right now. I remember going to Century. Do you remember Century Bar in Soho?
Yeah, I was there with you.
Falling down the stairs, drunk. So many nights. I learned to drink in that city. And you know what? I deserve a trophy for that.
You do, because we are ruthless.
We are ruthless.
I remember I was like just about to join Erdang, and my sister was in Les Mis with all you guys, and she would take me out with the Les Mis cast, and that's where we met for the first. And I just remember feeling like I have made it. It doesn't matter how my career goes. I'm here in Century with the cast of Les Mis, and my life's been made.
I felt the same way. I remember one of the nights, like, some of the cast was like, you've never had a Guinness, you know? And I was like, no, I'm from America. I'm like 17. And then they took me.
How are you in the bar?
Well, this is what's crazy. They took me to, I don't know if it's still there, I hope it is, the Blue Post. It's like right on the edge of Chinatown, like right off Shaftesbury Avenue. And they knew the guy at the door. And they're like, John, come on. And it was a very much like lads night. They're like, she's never had a Guinness. Let her in. And he was like, just this once. And of course, anytime, like he was like, right, go in.
Yeah.
And
what about
I
Freedom?
really loved it. Freedom. I think about that bar a lot. I got in my first bar fight in Freedom.
Did you?
She deserved it.
That's all we needed to know.
Just kidding.
You absolutely killed me. I saw a TikTok the other day.
Did you?
About you.
Oh God, I'm not on TikTok. I'm scared.
No, it was a woman who was in musical theatre, and she was like, the biggest injustice in this industry is that you didn't win an Olivier for your Kim performance.
Wow, that's very nice. I had to have been nominated to win, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, the fact that you weren't even nominated.
I think that John should have won.
I saw you play Kim, so I'm going to say I think you should have won.
I appreciate
that.
You.
Was a huge thing you did and left in London. It created an impact.
I really appreciate you saying that, because that was a really special time and a very special show. And you know what I'm grateful for? That they were like, but please still perform at the Olivier's. And when I walked into that, you've done the Olivier's?
I've been there, but I have not performed.
You know that massive orchestra that they have? When I did that first rehearsal, I actually burst into tears when they started playing the and I was like, oh my God, this is my life. How lucky to do what you want to do.
Did you ever have an ounce of nerves?
Yeah, I always have an ounce of nerves. I think it keeps you on your toes, but I just put it in the back pocket and let it like zoop, you know.
So it doesn't come out in your voice in any way?
Sometimes it does, and I think then that makes it human.
Real and raw.
Real and raw. I always try to go for that rather than perfect, because it's an unattainable, you're always going to be chasing, and I don't want to chase, I want to attract. I just want to also be, like, I want to be real.
I like that. You are real, though. You're real to your core.
I appreciate that.
And then you went on to actually play Éponine in Les Mis.
That was so much fun. Have you ever done that? You fucking slay the shit out of that.
Do you think I'm too old now? I've never been in Les Mis. Am I too old?
Every time you say that, I'm going to punch myself in the face.
I feel like I'm too old to play Éponine now.
That's 3 punches I'm going to have to punch myself in the face.
I think I'd find that hot, though. You can punch me anytime you want.
Stop it. You know what, though? You would slay as Glinda as well. Now I'm just thinking of all the roles I want to see you play.
I would love to do Glinda.
Oh, my God.
You never know. If I get it, I'll let you know.
Oh, my God.
I'll message you and
can
be
you just
like...
imagine it coming down? You know what's crazy? What's crazy is she can do both.
I am always in for Elphaba, but I feel like my personality is Glinda.
But the fact that you can do both...
Yeah, but you could do both.
Absolutely not.
Yes, you could. You are... Come on, bitch. Come on.
Absolutely not. No, well, to answer those silly questions, the answer is absolutely not. Don't say the O word. It's not true.
Can I ask, did you have any type of responsibility, like feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm going into Eponine. She's like, this is a legacy role. I need to make her my own. Was there any, like, I don't know, doubt in there? Or did you just go in and love it?
For me, I feel like there's always doubt. It's just how much I allow myself to, like, manifest into, like, my reality and what I do. But I remember speaking to the director, first day of rehearsal, being like, I want to do, like, the book. If she's pitiful, I want her to be pitiful. If she's strong here, I want her to be strong. I just wanted to honor the book and honor the people who came before, because I watched Carrie do it every night, and I was, like, drooling from the side, being like, what is wrong with you? How are you singing this beautifully? And, like, her eyes capture so much. And also Lea Salonga.
Yeah.
Who did both. Who else? Frances Raffel. So I was like, this is a really big deal. I think, too, like, with any actor or actress that comes in, like, you have your own experiences. So off the bat, it's going to be unique.
It is.
It's almost harder to do exactly what someone else has done.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're going against yourself, I think.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I think with you, it's like ego doesn't exist.
Well, ego ruins a lot. If you sit back and observe, like, when things go sour, most of the time it's ego and insecurity, like, manifested into something that's, like, really nasty. What I love about the first cast of Les Mis, I remember meeting Niall Sheehy, and we were all out on a night out, and he ended up doing Saigon with me as well. And he pulled me aside, and this is what I love about friends who can, like, be real with you. And he was like, I'm saying this because I love you. Be careful who you're hanging out with, because you're starting to turn into somebody that you're not.
I'd love if someone said that to me.
I was so, like, shocked at first and almost, like, offended, and then I was, like, deeply disappointed in myself. But I needed that, because had I not checked myself and, like, managed to be like, nope, don't be a bitch, just be yourself, I think ego would have started to, you know, grow in a way that I'd have to fight off now. So shout out to Niall Sheehy.
Yeah, and it would take a long time to fight off it, especially if it became a habit.
Did you find, too, that, like, you're learning lessons about life that you should have learned before?
I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I'm so like, now, you know, when you, like, think about something that you've done and it actually eats you alive inside. I have those moments, but I just think I would never have learned if those wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And also, you're a very good person, and I feel like good people make mistakes. I make mistakes, but as long as you know who you are and you're a good person, I feel like there's always, I don't even want to say redemption. It's just like, you are who you are and you're a great person. Yeah. And that, like, overshadows everything.
You. Also, my frigging family, if I lost touch of who I was, my family really makes sure my feet stay on the ground, you know? And I think that's really important. Support system.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, we're having a therapy session.
Something about these couches.
Yeah. Then you came over here.
I did.
You transferred with Miss Saigon and you played Kim here.
Yeah.
Was it always your goal to come here?
My first email, well, that's not true. My first email ever was jokerlover12@yahoo.com because I was obsessed with Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. And then my second email was broadwaygal123@gmail.com. I wanted to be on Broadway. I had Broadway all over my room. If it wasn't Zac Efron or the Jonas Brothers, and if I had known who Reeve Carney was, it would obviously be Reeve Carney posters on my wall. The West End couldn't have been a more magical detour, which I was like, but it made me who I was. And living in London and walking to work, like walking through Covent Garden Piazza to go to a theater, it's like, is this real life? So crazy.
Is it worlds apart from each other?
I think so. I feel like, because also the cities are so different, and I also feel like the expectations and demands are different. I feel like in London, they don't want to be as interactive. I don't know if the times have changed because of TikTok. Here, I feel like the audience might as well be on stage with you.
Yes. That's how I felt.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
No. The audience are a lot more engaged.
Yeah. For Back to the Future, you have to win. What theater are you in?
Adelphi.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. That's what Kinky Boots was.
It was lovely. Yeah, it was Kinky Boots. It's lovely. And obviously, I've been up and down the country in the UK, so that's the only taste I've had differently. And the more north you go, the crazier the audiences are. But I feel like the vibe on Broadway is that they are so invested in the performance. Yeah. The amount of standing ovations that was had last night throughout the whole performance was wild. Like you wouldn't really have that in the UK.
That gave me goose pimples because knowing that was Mandy's first show, and she's such a great, strong, just
amazing woman. Yeah. So you came and you played it here, and you were just obviously amazingly because you're still here. And then you came back to London.
I did.
To originate the role of your
You got it.
Eurydice.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Eurydice.
Perfect.
I was saying Eurydice.
But you know what? People have said that. They've said Eurydice, which is technically right. Euripides.
All I know is that I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
It slaps.
It is next level. Was there like a workshop that you were a part of?
I actually auditioned for that halfway through my Saigon on Broadway contract, and I got the role. And they wanted to do a version in Canada, and I couldn't do it because I was doing an indie film. And so the remarkable TV Carpio played it there, who was in Across the Universe, literally obsessed with her. So I joined the cast in London, and it was like kismet. I was like, the second I heard the song or the music, I was like, ooh. I texted my agents. I was like, I need to be in this. Yeah. I really want this. And I hadn't felt like that in a really long time. And so, yeah, again, I was like picturing myself doing it. I was like, this is going to be me. It's going to be me.
Did you have a lot of say in the creative part of her as a
yes
role?
And no. I think there's a gray area in like originating a role, and I think it also depends on the team, how collaborative they're wanting to be.
Yeah.
And I do think that we had a very collaborative team on Hadestown. But then I think too, when projects get bigger and when more people get involved and when the stakes get higher and more money gets involved, like when we came to Broadway, excuse me, it got very serious very fast.
Okay.
Because we did the National Theater, which felt chill. And then we were like, oh, like this is like a very big deal. Like everyone's like really becoming obsessed with it. And then when we realized the hype was so high when we came to Broadway, people got like put their I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say? They got very seriously like hammered down, and I feel like we were like, okay, we really need to like put this into overdrive.
Yeah. Like the fan base for it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's really beautiful though, because because of Instagram, because of TikTok, so many people are like, I feel connected to the show. I'm going to do a cosplay of this character and sing the song and tag the actors in it.
Yeah.
Like back in my day, like when we didn't have Instagram, back in my day, you just kind of like did a YouTube karaoke in your room.
Yeah.
And like wish that you were meeting the person that you were like trying to imitate.
That is one thing with social media is everyone is so accessible.
Yeah.
Which is good in the theatre world because it does build that hype.
It does.
Like Six had that hype.
Oh my
didn't
God.
It? Huge.
Six was massive.
Like that fandom was absolutely crazy. And I feel like you guys had that taste of, well, yeah, even to the same extent, really, because it's still happening now.
Oh my God. I don't know how stage doors are in the West End now, but like when I was there, it didn't really exist. Like you maybe had like 10 people who were like, great show.
Yeah. But on Broadway, stage door is wild.
Lines, freaking fences, guards, security guards. I think the longest stage door I've ever done is the one for Gatsby right now.
Really?
If I sign and take pictures and like actually, where are you from? Oh, you know, talk to people. Sometimes it takes me 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, that's the longest it ever took me.
Do you not just want to go home?
Oh, I absolutely do. But I do. And sometimes I do, and I apologize. However, stage door experience is not a part of your ticket. Just letting everyone know.
Yeah.
But I do think it's hard to not want to do it.
I know.
When you see the people and they're like, in the security camera, they're like,
I know.
Like holding their Playboy to their chest.
You could literally make their whole life.
Because I feel that way.
Saying hi.
I feel that way. Like just going to see Water for Elephants last night, going on stage and like those people I know, and like they came on stage and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you were amazing. Oh, I'm such a big fan. And they're like, Eva, we know you. And I'm like, I know, but like I'm such a big fan of yours. So I get it what theater can do.
Now let's talk about. Oh, also you were nominated for a Tony. The show was nominated for a Tony, right?
Yes, and I was. However, in my opinion, one of the biggest injustices that the American Theatre Wing has ever done is not nominate Reeve Carney for a Tony for his performance as Orpheus. Absolutely. Everything else was nominated.
Apart from him.
Imagine lighting being nominated, which rightly so. Bradley King, you're a legend. One of the main reasons that the show has the heart it does and the truth it does is not nominated. Travesty. It's going to be on my tombstone.
Now let's talk about The Great Gatsby. Workshopped it?
No.
No.
Not at all.
I was just talking to someone and they basically said, Mark Evans, he's in Tammy Faye now.
Yep.
And he said it's so difficult to be in an original production unless you're in it from the beginning.
That sounds right. Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people who were in the workshops prior to this version. And we actually had an out-of-town tryout at Paper Mill Playhouse, which was crazy. What a crazy experience Paper Mill is. Yeah, I mean, it's like the commute is like you get on a cast van and it's like sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour.
Oh, wow.
Depending on traffic. And our schedule, listeners, you're going to love this, but it's probably what you did on tour. Monday, Tuesday off. I might get this wrong. Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, that's awful.
Horrid.
You do get 2 days off.
We do get 2 days off.
I had 1 day off, and that was including a travel.
You travel on your day off? That's abuse.
What's the hardest song you've ever had to sing in your career?
Oh, God, in my career? Oh, God.
Nothing, because my voice is made of steel.
Right. Honestly, if you asked me to sing anything right now, I'd be like, honestly, I think Beautiful Little Fool.
Really?
Which is Daisy's song at the end of Act 2 of Gatsby. There's something really hard, and I'm not good at this, about singing with restraint that she does, because she doesn't really show you all of her cards.
Okay.
And I'm still working on that. But I'm grateful that Jason Howland, who wrote the music for the show, when he first gave me the key, I was like, Jason, this goes up to an F. Do me a favor. What are we going to do about that? And I was like, I think, though, for Daisy, it makes sense. Because in the book, it says that her voice is very low and thrilling.
Okay.
I was like, so should we keep it lower? And he's like, listen, you're singing it. You tell me. Never had that said to me before. Really? It's always like, no, these are the notes. So
yeah, you have to do it that way.
Have to do it. So I'm loving it. It's so much fun.
And the last one would be, what is your ultimate goal in life?
To continue being myself and continue being a dreamer and be there for my family, my friends, never let go of joy and honesty and accountability. I don't know, just being a person that knows that her life on earth is, not to be morbid, but limited, in this body at least. And just continue doing what I love and need to do, and being with people who I love and eating good foods and not giving a shit if I gain weight or if I have acne, if I have whatever. Because you get it. Like in this industry, like we're really not by the people who employ us, but also by the people who watch us. We're just under high, like, people are looking at us at all times. I care about that, but I don't. I want to give less shits in my life.
Yeah. As many less shits as you can give,
Absolutely.
the happier you will be.
I completely agree. And I'm learning that as I
Get older.
Yeah.
Same. Well, thank you so much.
But we're just getting younger, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that Botox.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You're literally the most wonderful human being ever.
Thank you
You
for
are
having me.
sunshine.
What a great time.
And thank you for listening, guys. See ya.
Bye.